All right, what's going on? This is like a form of aware of consciousness concerning the African American black male that lives in the United States of America. I wonder if you know that there are certain species that are considered an endangered species. Humpback whale, albino tiger. There are certain species that's considered an endangered species due to the annihilation of its species. But did you know that the African American male was considered an endangered species back in like 1987, 88, 89, 90s? We as African American males in the United States of America was considered an endangered species because we were killing each other on a large scale and we were incarcerated on a large scale. That's why the numbers are so high now today, because back in the 80s, the 90s, 70s, we were being incarcerated on a large scale. So we were considered an endangered species. By being locked up, you're not considered a citizen. The citizens don't count. Well, back then, now they do, but back then they didn't count inmates. So you wasn't even counted as a citizen in the United States of America during the census. And then put it on top of that, that we were killing each other and others were killing us. So we are actually considered an endangered species in the 80s. After everything we've gone through, we was actually considered, the African American male was considered an endangered species because we was almost to the point of annihilation. We was almost to a point where so we won't exist, but thank God it didn't happen. But to go through everything that we have gone through over the hundreds of years, United States of America, to be considered an endangered species in the 80s and 90s, and to come above that. I don't know if anyone know that. I don't know. This is called awareness of consciousness. I don't know if you was aware that the African American male was considered an endangered species, just like the red-tipped fox was considered an endangered species. And we have still come above that. We have still come above being labeled as a race. I don't know if any other race, I mean, the Jews almost came close to being, annihilated, but they didn't, and they live in large. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that incident almost annihilated that race of people. Just like, we bombed Hiroshima. And these places and these people are more powerful in the United States of America. In the United States of America, I'm not knocking anybody, but the Jews run a lot, and we already know made in Japan, so we already know how strong their economy and their money is, and we have made multi-millions or hundreds of millions, billions, if you combine the numbers in the last 50 years of African Americans that have made money in the United States of America. It's over a billion. It's over probably 100 to 200 billion. It's probably that high. I don't know, but if I were to sit back and do the numbers, I'm sure it's pretty high, going way, way back. Carl Lewis days, even before Carl Lewis, going way, way back. Joe Lewis, I'm sure he made some money. Everyone made money, but you add the numbers of money that the African American male has made over the years after being declared an endangered species, much less the suffering years. I don't like to say suffering years. 200 or 300 years, 400 years of suffering years. And then be labeled an endangered species in the 80s and the 90s, and now, to be a prominent figure in the United States of America in every aspect, political, sports, news. And we are prominent in every aspect in this country. and people have joined together with our culture. But to be labeled an endangered species, I don't know if anybody know that consciously, but to know that the United States of America labeled the African American male an endangered species back then. Just being conscious of what's going on. That's all it is. Just being conscious of what's going on. And to come this far in 2015, we still haven't united as a race. Marcus Garvey words, Malcolm X words, Martin Luther King words, all these other people that have spoken upon our inability to unite as a race. That's all I'm saying. As a race of people, we still have not been able to unite. And we need to change that. There's a lot of technology today. There's a lot of information today. But we need to really change this as a race. I'm just speaking in general as a race that was labeled to be extinct. Change that. They changed the creatures that was labeled to be extinct. They made sure their population grew. They made sure they put them in a place where they will not be extinct. But we are extinct on a level of unity. We are extinct on a level of togetherness. We need to stop this unity disparagement that we have with each other. This is the United States of America in 2015. If you are unable to grasp what is promising for you as a multi-millionaire in the United States of America to change everything that Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these people that have died for the cause. And now it's 2015, you can change this because you have the power, because today's power is about money. The power is money, and we know the power is money. We already know that. We're not going to go into that level. We already know it's all about the money. And as a group of multi-millionaires, I ain't talking about 1 or 2 million, 3 or 4 million. I'm talking about hundreds of millions. When you gather the numbers together with the multi-millionaires, African Americans reside in the United States of America, the numbers are astronomical. It's in the billions. It's in the billions. People make more than the president here in America. There's African Americans. There are African Americans that live in the United States of America that makes way more money, and not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a lot of us that make way more money than the United States president. In the time where the president is Afro-American. And it's impossible for us not to change this. So when the next year come around, and whatever it may happen, we need to join together and stop all this corporate greed. So we need to stop this corporate greed and get together and do it as a race that was considered to be extinct, especially the Afro-American male that hoards a lot of these millions and millions of dollars. But you was considered to be extinct. This is before a lot of y'all just making millions. But we was considered to be extinct. So let's change this. Let's get together and change this progress. Change this progress in the form of uplifting the African American people and those that are in poverty stricken, those that has been eradicated with their income. Let's change this, and we can do it.